Welcome to Seeing with Your Soul, a safe and sacred place to be vulnerable, to be transparent, to be authentic. I am your host, Tisha Michelle. From the deep pain and loss of my best friend Gloria, I realized she gave me the greatest gift ever, remembering my purpose in life, which is to help connect you to your authentic self, guide you to remember your purpose, and remind you that your current circumstance doesn't define who you are. Join me as we heal, align, and glow together. Hey guys, welcome to Seeing with Your Soul. I'm your host, Tisha Michelle. If this is your first time here, thanks for stopping by, and I really hope that you continue to stay a while. And for all my loyal listeners, y'all know that I really super appreciate you guys. The support is so great. I remember one time, this was probably a good solid, because I've been in Arizona now for a year. So maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I remember saying that I wanted to have a podcast. It could have been longer than that, to be honest. Time's such an illusion, right? And I remember saying, I was like, I want a podcast. And then I remember instantly saying, no, I don't. I just want a podcast because everybody else has a podcast. And when I was saying everybody else, it wasn't even like people that I knew personally that had a podcast. It's when I was really going hard listening to Ali Brown, Ambition Radio. I've learned so much when it comes to business from, following her for years now. So, she had her podcast because that was what I was enjoying. And then there was a couple other people that I was faithfully listening to. And then I just remember just saying I want a podcast. And guys, instantly that voice was no, you fucking don't. And I don't think it really sounded like that, but that's how it felt. It was no, you don't. You just want one because everybody else want one. And then I shut it down. And then a couple years later is when it comes back. So it's I shut that voice down and I shut that voice down. And that was that ego wanting to protect you from, quote unquote failure. That voice that says what are you going to talk about? Is anybody really going to listen to you? Who do you think you are? Those things start to pop up. So when I say that I am grateful and I, say that I'm so appreciative of you guys, I really, 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 truly mean that, because you guys really be listening. And I know you be listening not just because I see the downloads, but just the messages I get, the responses I get, especially when it's an episode that I'll record an episode and then afterwards I'll be like, dang, I could have did better. I should have said something else. There goes that voice again, right? And then shortly afterwards, I'll get quote unquote, I'm doing air quotes over here, a random message from someone's talking about that episode. And then I'll just be I'll start laughing to myself. And it's because I was getting in my own head, right? That little inner critic. And then Spirit's let me shut that up real quick and let you know that you have to trust that what you're saying is reaching exactly who it needs to reach. So it's not to the point of oh, you could have did better or you could have said more. It's no, you were saying exactly what you were guided to say so it could reach exactly who it's meant to reach. And yes, while there could be someone who is oh, wow, I wish there was more. I wish you went deeper on this or on that. That really doesn't fall on me. It really falls on the individual person, because in that present moment, they might not have even been ready for deeper. They had to be able to take in what they did consume and let that sit and let that work through them before they can even go, deeper. And a lot of people look to that, even with podcasts and stuff. It's they want to consume, but they're not really processing what they're consuming. And the thing is that the mind, the body, the soul needs to process those things. So when you're hearing something that's resonating with you and you're feeling it in your body, you gotta come, it's kind of let it marinate, right? It needs to marinate a little bit. And then maybe some other experiences will come up around the content that you consume that can then help make it, well, how is this to say, a lot more real for you before you can consume anything else, right? So again, thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. I don't even know how I went off on that. You see how I be doing? That wasn't even part of the, wasn't consciously, it wasn't part of the plan. But anyhow, so around here, you guys know I like to kick things off with expressing some gratitude. And if you don't know, and like I said, this is your first time, I do like to start off by expressing gratitude. This is how I start off my day in general, is by expressing gratitude. I'll do it throughout the day. Not that it's a consistent thing, but I am consistent with when I wake up in the morning. One of the first things I do is really scan through my life and say, what is it that I'm grateful for in this present moment? So in this present moment, I would say that I'm grateful for healthy communication skills. Like, it's definitely something that I had to work on, because it was easy for me to just shut down and don't say shit to you. And then the other aspect of it is I'll go from 0 to 100 very, very quickly, right? There wasn't no in between. Either I ain't saying shit to you, and when I'm not talking to you and I'm not rocking with you and I don't feel you, like, people know it. That energy right there is strong. Like, people know it, right? Or I'm gonna flip the fuck out on you. So there was really no in between. But I had to learn that. I had to learn to really, like, check in with myself, really check myself, and then be able to proceed from there. And in that case, it could be really just me checking, like, yo, why am I really feeling like this? Why did that trigger the shit out of me? Why did that make me feel a certain way? Is this something that I need to handle internally? Is this something that I need to say to this person? Not on some like rah-rah type shit, but really like express how it is that I feel, or whatever like the case may be. So just being able to like learn that there's ways to communicate. You don't have to shut down and you don't have to like wild out on someone, but really like check yourself first. Like, I'm very, very grateful for it. And I had that experience just a couple of days ago with, I ain't even gonna get into like with who, but I had that, and it was crazy because I was just like, whatever, I'm good, get off the phone. And then I'm tight, right? And I was like, you know what? I checked myself and I said, okay, they're right. I could have a conversation. So, I called back, and then I was like, oh, I needed to say what I needed to say. But before I could say that, this person apologized to me and expressed like how they felt. And I was like, oh shit, okay, this is cool. I'm like, 10 years ago, that conversation wouldn't have went that way with us, period. But anyway, so, I expressed, where it was coming from, and where the upset, being upset was coming from was really just not me being upset with the individual person. It was just more upset with myself and being able to there. So anyway, so the conversation ended up being very, very healthy and very great. And it's like, you could just see like that elevation and that growth on both parties. So, when I just scan through, I'm like, I'm really grateful for that, because there's so many different ways to communicate with someone. And I believe that the better choice is just to have a healthy conversation. And it is okay to express how it is that you feel. And if you're getting defensive over something that someone is saying, stop. In dead ass in the middle of the conversation, take some deep breaths, right? Take some deep breaths to center yourself, so you're able to actually respond and not really react. And things are just so much better if you just have a healthy conversation and just communicating, but also with yourself. A lot of people, it's easy for them to check someone else and tell them about how, and judge them and tell them how wrong they are and this and that, but they don't want to look within, and they don't want to check themselves and be like, yo, why are you all bent out of shape? Why are you bent out of shape? Is there truth to what someone has said? Why did that make you feel some type of way? Because that was a beautiful invitation for you to work through some stuff within yourself, and then be able to communicate that in a nice, healthy way. So in this present moment, that is what I am grateful for. So now your turn. Unless you are driving, right? And I always have to say this, and somebody was teasing me the other day, and they was like, you always say that before you tell the person, unless you are, driving, go ahead and close your eyes. Like, I'm pretty sure people like know that. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to put anything past anybody, and you ain't going to be blaming Tisha Michelle of Seeing With Your Soul while your ass got into a car accident because you was listening to a podcast and you were so in tuned and just really, vibing with the whole podcast. And then I got to the part and I said, close your eyes, and you close your eyes. Oh, hell no. So I'm going to put my little disclaimer out there, and I'm going to say, unless you are driving, I need you guys to go ahead and close your eyes. So yes, now I am talking to you guys listening. Go ahead and close your eyes. And let's center ourselves before we even really express this gratitude. So go ahead and take a nice deep breath. You should breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. Again, a nice deep breath in through your nose. Out through your mouth. One more. Deep breath in through your nose. And out through your mouth. Nice, nice. Doesn't that just feel good? And I'm going to say this on every episode when I be talking to people. I'm going to post it online. Just stop for a few seconds and take like 3 to 4 nice deep breaths. Like, just release and try to send some of that energy through your body so it's not getting stuck. Like, a lot of times, like when I take like a nice deep, a couple of deep breaths in through my nose and out through my mouth, I start to feel like so much lighter, especially around the shoulder area and the neck area. And that's how I know that I'm holding so much weight there, so much burden, so much responsibilities, and I need to be able to just kind of release that through, right? And you're centering yourself, you're grounding yourself. So what are you grateful for? So in this present moment, just do a quick scan or a long scan. You can pause this, podcast and really just scan your life. And when I first started, doing this on the podcast, I would do 3 things that I was. And then I stopped doing the 3 things just for the simple fact that it doesn't need to be structured in that sense. There's a lot of things that I'm grateful for. So if I feel like expressing more than one, I will. If I want to do 3, 4, 5, whatever, like the case is. So, just scan your life right now. What are you grateful for? If you're journaling, you could do this journaling. You could say it in your head. You could say it, out loud. Just express it. Just express that gratitude. It just makes you feel good when you start to really just think about the things that are going amazing in your life, the things that you have, some things you might have taken for granted and whatnot. Just everything. It's like I got in the car and, the car has where you can move your seats, to the front, but it's automatic. So you just push the thing on the side. And, I just recently had surgery, so I'm still in the sling. I really, it hurts to really to move it, right? And I'm in my second or third week. I don't even know. Second or third week of physical therapy, so it's hard. So it's on my left side. So I get into the car and I need to move the seat up because my son was driving and he pushed it all the way back. So I can't use my left hand to do that. I have to use the right. But now I got to take my right hand and I got to lean all the way over to my left side and all the way down. And I couldn't do it. And it was so hard to do it. And I was like, oh my gosh, right? So it's like, but when you're not in pain and you haven't hurt an arm or a hand or like I said, you just go about and you just do it like it's nothing and you just keep it moving. And now it's just like when that's out of quote unquote commission right now, I'm like, damn, I was really taking my non-dominant hand for granted, So I had to open the door and kind of like get out to just use the other hand to just push it forward. Just ridiculousness. But I am grateful that I have my other arm and stuff. So I'm just saying all that to say, just scan through your life and just look at the things that you are, you're grateful for. And again, maybe it's some things that you take for granted that you want to just give a little love to, you know what I mean? So yeah, what you grateful for? So if you've been connecting with me for a while, you would have heard me say this plenty of times, whether online and in person, on the phone, on the podcast. If you want to know who you are and why you do what you do, you must visit your childhood. Because 1, at our core, we are love, just pure love. As a child, we are taught everything, right? We don't know nothing. Right. And if you want to go deeper in the sense of the spiritual part, we're a spirit having a human experience. And then in order to have that experience, it's like, boom, when we're born, we have instant amnesia. Right. So we have to learn things along the way. Right. So in order to evolve and grow, we have to learn lessons. In order to learn those lessons, we have to have experiences. Right. So, as a child, we're taught everything. We don't know anything. We're taught through our environment, through going to school, certain things we're watching, we're hearing and all. So as a child, we love to dream big and imagine, right? It just felt good. People ask you what you want to be, like, oh, I want to be the president. Oh, I want to be a princess. Or I want to be like whatever, right? You could just say it as like 2 and 3 and 4, whatever. And then you just pretend. You could have little tea parties. You have whatever it is that you did, like, right? We just use our imagination and we would have big dreams, right? And it felt great until someone along the way told us to stop pretending that's not real, stop imagining, or be realistic, right? Then all of a sudden, you have no dreams. You're a whole adult or even a teen. You have no dreams. You have a hard time imagining your life beyond the current circumstance that it is. I've had clients say that to me before. They say, I don't know what I really want. I can't really imagine anything else. Like, they'll say that they'll hear people, saying like their dream house, their dream car, or their dream whatever, and they say they don't have one. And the reason being is because deep in their subconscious mind, they don't feel like they will ever have it. So it's hard for them to really even dream it or imagine it, because it's like, why am I going to imagine it? Why would I imagine? I don't even see or believe myself to have it. And that's because someone shot that down. So as a child, someone shot that. So many things can get shut down as a child, but our imagination, our pretending, our dreaming big. You have people now who will say, I'm trying to be a millionaire. Oh, that's cool. But why don't you want to be a billionaire? Because in their mind, they still don't believe that they can ever hit billionaire status, right? They just don't receive it. And why? Because they look at all these other, and I'm doing air quotes again, successful people in the world, and they haven't even hit billionaire status. So in their mind, they're like, well, if they haven't even hit it, then why the hell would I be able to hit it? So I'm a cap and I'm going to stop it at millionaire. Why? Because you really can't even see, and that's far-fetched for a lot of people to even see themselves as a millionaire, because they're not able to see themselves beyond where they're at right now. And a lot of that was because of our childhood, because it was really just taking away, like you had to do this, you had to do that. So who the hell are you to say, yo, I'm going to be a millionaire? Yo, I'm going to be a billionaire? Like, what? So that's a part of like that programming that's in our subconscious mind. The other part of that is going back to our childhood, is that, due to your experiences, you show up in the world wearing a mask, sometimes multiple masks. Depending on where you are at or who you are around, you're a different person. And that's because you're afraid to be you, right? Because you may feel it's safer to fall in line and not stand out. Why? Maybe because as a child, when you did stand out, you were made fun of. And when I say stand out, meaning all the attention was on you. People were talking about you. They were whispering. They were actually saying it to your face. They were calling you weird, judging you by the way that you looked, judging you by the clothes that you wore, or how your hair was, or how you talked, right? So you don't want to feel like that no more. No, they're like, fuck that. I don't want to feel like that no more. So I'm going to fall in line and I'm going to do what everybody else is doing. Even though it's not right. Even though you feel weird. You feel like you're not in alignment. You might not be able to articulate the words. But it's also tiring. So then when you come home, it's like, whew. You know that feeling like for us ladies when we take our bra off. Right? And you're just like, oh, yeah, this feels good. Because you feel like yourself. You feel just free. But when you're showing up in the world, you have to, play this role. And my daughter, my youngest one, she says it all the time. She was like, we're just all playing roles. And she was like, we're all characters. And I was on the phone and I was talking to my other daughter, my oldest daughter, and then my youngest was next to me. And I was saying something like, I was like, yo, people just act like they just can't operate without me, right? And I kept saying that, right? But adding a little more onto it. So my daughter on the phone was like, who you throwing shade at? You throwing shade at us? And I'm like, yeah, y'all a part of it. I said, y'all act like y'all can't operate, like without me. So then my youngest daughter was like, well, at least you're a main character. All I could do was laugh, right? Because it's true. We're all characters and we're all playing roles, and then we have supporting people around us. We have people who are going to support and uplift us, right? And we're going to have people who are around us who don't support us, but they're actually still playing a supporting role, and they're playing that role of like the non-supporter, and the ones that are just going to make you really question yourself and question your ability and question your truth. And it's like, what are you going to do with that? Are you going to fall back in line and listen to them, or is that going to trigger the shit out of you and be like, yo, you can't tell me what's best for me. You can't tell me what I'm thinking or what I'm trying to do is fucking crazy. You can tell it to me, but this is me. This is my life. This is my journey. This is my process. And this is what I came here for. So then you're going to like push me. And see, I'm that type of person. I never really had to experience that too much. But when I started my home care agency, it was really because I didn't even start the home care. I think I even did a podcast on that. But I started the school to teach the care provider so they could then go work in home care. And then the actual home care part fell in my lap. It did fall in my life. Fell in my lap. But I started it because when I presented it to the company I was working with, the HR guy, he laughed and was like, that's not a good idea. Basically, he was like, that's not a good idea. And I was like, what? You trying to call me out? That's how I took it. So behind the scenes, I'm researching and calling Medicaid and how do I get approved and doing all this. And then boom, a Hopeful Home was born. And that's what it was born. So that dude played a role. He was a character. He played a role. He was a non-supportive, but he was still supporting because he was supporting it and me pushing into something that was already inside of me that needed to come out. Right? So he was playing a role. So also, why was it that he projected so much to say that's not a good idea. We're just going to tell the bosses that because she's new. I forgot. I think he said like overzealous. I don't even know if that's even the word that he used. So if that definition doesn't go with what I'm talking about, just know that I'm just saying the wrong damn word that he said. But it was some shit like that. He was just like, oh, we're just going to tell her that she's new. And because she's new, she was just overzealous. And she just, got ahead of herself. Like, so when I think about it, why was he projecting? What was he afraid of? He was afraid that because he was going to take it back to them and then they would say something to him? Or was he afraid because there's no way in hell he would have did that coming new into a company and then recommending something so big and so bold to like the owners of the company, who was one of them who was also copied on the email? So he was afraid and he projected that onto me. So I could have folded him and like, yeah, he right. I was overstepping, yada, yada, yada. But no, I did the opposite. And that was the biggest shit. That was actually, I've always done like network marketing and been a hustler, but to actually have an actual business that was producing over $500,000, like, basically, yeah, all because someone called me out and said my shit was not a good idea. Right? So in life, we're going to play these different roles and we're, in characters, right? But how do we just play that character or that role of just who we are? Like it's just us, right? So me and my daughter were watching Paris Hilton's new documentary, right? So I'm pretty sure everybody listening knows who Paris Hilton is, right? So when she first came onto the scene, I was like, who is this Paris Hilton? It didn't even click or dawn on me with her last name about the hotel until like my best friend Gloria was saying something to me about it, and she was like, the hotels. I was like, oh, wow. Okay. That's what's up, right? Okay, now I got the connection. That's with the hotels. Okay, cool. So she basically was like the influencer, the original influencer, right? Like everybody else fell behind her. So she created this new thing, this whole trendy. So, that was a part of her soul's purpose, right? So, you see her in the spotlight. You seen the time where it was a sex tape that was put out with her. So of course you just kind of look at it like, here we go, right? But anyway, so she got mad money. She has her own franchise, all this good perfume lines, all this stuff. So you see her online, you see her snapping these pictures. She even had a reality TV, which I believe like she was even like maybe that was like the beginning of the shits and stuff too with it. But I could be wrong, but it was definitely in the beginning phases of it. So she has the reality show and she's like the dumb blonde, right? Which I don't even know where that started from, but she's like the dumb blonde. That's her character. So she puts out this documentary and me and my daughter watch it. And I'm like, holy shit. So in this documentary, which I highly suggest everybody to go and watch it because it's life, right? As we look at people on TV, on these reality shows, we look at people on social media, on Instagram, and we just seeing all their highlight reels, everybody acting like they, their perfect life. They even talk about healing and talk about this stuff, but they're not really doing the work, right? They're just talking, right? They're just talking and they're just snapping and they're just showing you this stuff and all. And this is not me judging anybody. This is just saying, and then you have people at home who are looking at it and then they're hating their life because they're seeing other people just make this look so easy and it's so amazing and everybody's having this great time and all this stuff. And then they start looking at themselves and start, feeling like shit and feeling like, well, I should be here. I should be there. And then everybody is just a mess. The people at home are a mess for comparing themselves to someone else. And then the people online who are putting on a front and making it look like everything is perfect and the shit is not. And it's just all a hot mess. And everybody's just a big old mess. All of us are just a mess, right? So you see Paris Hilton and you see the Kim Kardashians and you see all those people and stuff. And then there's a lot of people who just like want that. And it's just so amazing. And their life is just great. And it's like, oh my gosh. So Paris Hilton does this documentary and she just keeps it 100 in it. And she basically comes out and she says, I'm playing a character. She was playing a character. She's not dumb. She's actually fucking brilliant. She's actually very brilliant. There was a part in it where they showed on her, and yes, I'm telling you guys, so whatever, but I'm telling you the documentary, but still go watch it. But there's a part where they show a clip of when she had her reality show, and she had some people that she had brought on that knew her before all of that, and they said when they looked at it, they was like, yes, she does. They were like, she's smart. They were like, because there was a part where she just acted like she didn't know how to use like a mop or something. And they were like, yeah, she knows how to use a mop. But she was playing a character. She's playing a role, right? But why was she playing this role? So then she lets us in and she's very vulnerable and she lets us into her experience of what she went through as a child, what she had never talked about publicly. And a lot of things her mother didn't, her parents didn't even know. So I guess she was wilding out. And I want to say wilding out, but, expressing herself and being curious and exploring, which is what, we do as children and as teens. And I'm doing air quotes again, we act out, right? So she was expressing herself or whatever. And her parents decided to send her to these schools. I don't even like using the word school, but send her to these programs that's supposed to fix you, right? Like something's fucking wrong with you. Nothing is wrong with you. Nothing is wrong with your children. If you're a parent, nothing is wrong with your children. They are in a learning phase and they don't know how to express themselves, right? Shit, as fucking adults, we don't even know how to express ourselves, right? So you think that something's wrong. Nothing's wrong with them. Nothing was wrong with her. She was expressing herself from whatever, right? So they send her away to these places, right? And they're awful. But she was saying she started off by talking about how she has these nightmares. And she always has these nightmares that, people are kidnapping her and she just can't get away. Well, in actuality, that's her subconscious mind replaying something that happened to her when she was younger and it was ready to come out so she could heal from it, right? So whatever the name of this place, I forget the name of the place that they sent her to, her parents, contacted them and they came in the middle of the night and took her out of the bed, like sleeping. That alone is fucking traumatic. And I don't be liking to judge, but shame on her parents. Shame on her parents, right? So, because obviously they had to approve it because they had to let them in the house. So you just imagine being a kid and just dead ass sleeping, and then you're waking up by two men grabbing you, and you just screaming and yelling, and nobody's helping you. That alone is traumatic. You will never fucking trust another soul in your life because the two people that are meant, is what we taught, right? To love and to protect us is our mother and our father, and you were the ones who allowed this? Of course she's gonna have trust issues. What the fuck? Of course she's gonna attract men in her life who act fucking crazy, who are possessive and all that whatnot, right? Of course she's going to attract that. So anyhow, in this thing, she's talking two angles of it. One, she's exposing them fucking schools that need to be shut the hell down. She's exposing the schools of how people were sexually abused, emotionally abused, verbally abused, physically abused. thrown in solitary as fucking kids, and they say the youngest age is 8. These shits need to be done. So she's using her platform and she's using her voice and her experience to put them on blast, right? To expose it, because that shit has to stop. Then the other aspect of what she was doing was she was letting the world know I was playing a role. I'm not dumb. I know what fucking Walmart is. She's like, I'm playing a role. And it was things that she didn't do or didn't say because she wanted to protect her brand. I got to protect the brand. I got to protect the brand. Which is this false mask that she showed up into the world. She showed her closet with all the beautiful clothes and shoes and how much stuff that she just has. And she's like, but this is me. I like being like this at home with my dog, eating in sweatpants and sneakers. But she's all dolled up and showing out there and stuff. And she was like, and part of like her brand and who she is, she's never been photographed twice in the same clothes. And that's the brand. And she couldn't wait until she was 18 so then she could just do her own thing and earn her own money and never have to, worry about any of that stuff happening again. So that's why she works and works and works and works and works. She wants to get to billionaire status, like her own within, like she has companies that reached it and stuff. But like first she wants to hit billionaire status and then she feels like she'll be okay. Because see, she has that fear. She wants to be able to do everything on her own and take care of herself. So she'll never be in a position like she was when she was a child. So again, if you want to know who you are and why the things you do, you have to visit your childhood. You have to visit your childhood. So you can get back to the core of who you are and you can understand why you're people pleasing. You can understand why you're, air quotes again, shy. You can understand why you can't dream big or you can't imagine. You can understand why your life is the way that it is. Because yes, our life is the way it is because of us. We created it. We created it. And even if you look at the things that happened to you as a child and you say, well, I didn't create that. Yeah, we didn't create that, but what did we do after that? What did we do after those experiences that we had? Did we just shut down and say, yo, I'm not going to trust nobody. I'm not going to trust anybody because I couldn't trust my parents. So there's no way I'm going to trust anybody. And then we blocked and we stopped that flow of love, allowing that to come in. And it goes a lot deeper and deeper than that. But I thought that documentary was great. I was like, of course I don't know Paris, but I'm like, I'm so proud of her to be able to start her healing process. Like her coming out and she connected with some other people who were friends with her then. And they did a campaign and they came out and then just to see like where they are in their life and the things that they've experienced and how they recalled it and stuff is crazy. And it's been around for a very long, because Paris is like 39, I think. She's like I'm 48, she's like 39. And that school has been around for a long time. And they even said that the school then births sister schools. So it's just going on. So for someone to be of such a high status, doing air quotes again, because this is with the world, the way we place the labels and stuff on people, right? We give them, celebrity status and stuff, and to have a lot of money. And when I say a lot of money, which means she has a lot of access to do research and reach and get things, right? So when we looked at it at the time of this, me recording it, this was yesterday, we watched it or whatever, it had came out 5 days ago and it was at like 6.5, I think, or 6 million at least though, 6 million views. And that's a hell of a reach, right? And so for her to use her platform and to come out and speak about it now, even with her brand being like where it is and not, I'm not going to say she's not worried about her brand, because I think they asked her a question like, so do you stop the brand? And she was like, no. But she still came out and spoke about this, which could do whatever it could do, right? But she didn't care because it was like, no, I need to speak up because I've been silent enough. And this is happening to more children. More children are experiencing what I went through because they think, their parents think that they're sending them somewhere to be fixed, right? So to all my parents out there, there's nothing wrong with your children. There's nothing wrong with your children. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to express themselves. They're confused as fuck. We're confused as fuck. And also to everyone that's listening, nothing is wrong with you. You had some experiences that you need to work through. In order to work through them, you need to acknowledge it. right? You want to have that self-awareness. And you need to feel it, right? You need to feel how it is that you felt. Paris Hilton says she has insomnia because she's afraid to sleep. Because when she sleeps, she keeps having that dream. So you fight it, right? So what happens? You fight it and you have insomnia, you don't go to sleep. And then that affects your health, that affects how you're performing. And it's all this trickle effect versus saying, you know what, fuck that. I'm going to sleep. And I'm going to see this dream through. And then I'm going to show up in my awakened life and I'm going to work through these things. Because I'll be damned if I'm going to allow those experiences, and those situations, and those people to keep me trapped in this mental fear. Because all your power is there. And we got to start taking our power back. And yes, it does mean going back to your childhood. Going back to your childhood. So, again, the documentary was called, I believe it's called This is Paris, and it's on YouTube, right? I just tell everybody, go check it out. You know, that might not have been your experience, but you'll be able to relate in a way and just see, what character are you playing? Who are you now? What character are you playing? And do you want to get back to the role of who you truly are? The core you. The quirky person that just shows up or the person who just says whatever the hell that they want. You know, how people talk about people who are autistic. I be they're so badass because they see the world exactly how the world is and they say whatever the fuck they want to say. Nothing is wrong with them. There's something wrong with us. No, I'm kidding. There's nothing wrong with any of us, right? We've just had some experiences and we've learned some lessons, and some of those lessons are very, very painful. Some of those lessons are amazing, right? It shows us our inner strength and all the beauty and everything, even in those darkest moments. So, when I was watching that documentary, I was like, oh, hell yeah, I got to talk about this on a podcast, because this right here, whew, if more people could just really, truly start to show up to who they are. And you know what? A lot of people don't know who they are. I don't know who I am. I'm still uncovering. And this is why I always suggest, I say, place your hands on your heart and say, who am I and what's my purpose? And say it multiple times and let things keep reveal themselves, kind of letting that carpet roll out little by little by little. So it's who am I and what's my purpose? Because I don't fully know who I am. I've gotten past that surface level and I've gone deep, but there's a lot deeper that I can go. And there is a part of me that is resisting. Because I know there's going to be some other things that are painful and that are going to be unlocked. And it's fuck, do I really want to go through this right now? Because I got a couple sessions today and I got this to do this week, and, procrastinating and putting it off, right? Putting it off. But I know that I can go deeper as well. Just I know that each and every one of you guys can go deeper. And yes, it may be painful. And yes, it will be, not even that it may be painful. It is going to be painful, and it is scary as shit too. But it's so, so, so worth it. So worth it. So, all right. That's what I got for you guys. I am back now taking some appointments. I've opened up some spots. So if something I said on here really triggered you, resonated with you, you want to dive a little deeper, reach out to me. You can go to my website, healalignedglow.com, click on sessions, and book a session there. You can send me a message on Instagram at Mindset Slayer, which all I'm going to do is send you to the link in my bio. So it's the same thing. Just go to my website. Yeah. And we can just connect and we can dive a little bit deeper and really get this whole healing journey, on its way. And not even if it's on its way, because you may have already started your process, but healing is not linear. It's not a one size fits all. It's no straight damn line. I'm not the only person that can help you on your healing journey. If you already work with me, I won't be the only person. There'll be a lot of other teachers that'll show up to you. It can come through a podcast. It can come through another person. It can come through a song. It can come through a book. But there's, I like to tell people all the time is try a lot of different modalities and, use a little piece from here, a little piece from there, a little piece from there. It's not going to be just one thing. And it's I'm fixed because ain't nothing wrong with you. You're not broken. you're not broken. We're just things that you just really could highly benefit from being able to process and stuff. So yeah, until next time, guys, sending you guys so much love and light and peace and healing and happiness and just positive goddamn vibes. Bye, guys. Thanks for tuning in to #Certified. If anything resonated with you, I would love to continue the conversation. You can follow me on Instagram at @itistisha. And if you want to be a part of the #Certified tribe, you can join my Facebook group by going to the search tab and putting in #Certified. My website is conversationswithtisha.com. As always, have a great one on purpose. Love you.